Hi, my name is David Fleming from Disciples Ignited, a ministry that's focused on Jesus, advancing his kingdom, and preparing his disciples. Now, we've been studying about the manna that the Lord sent from heaven. Let me read to you Exodus chapter 16, verse 13, that tells us a little bit about this. That evening, quail came and covered the camp, and in the morning there was a layer of dew around the camp. When the dew was gone, thin flakes like frost on the ground appeared on the desert floor. When the Israelites saw it, they said to each other, "What is it?" For they did not know what it was. Moses said to them, "It is the bread that the Lord has given you to eat." Now, right before the Lord sent the manna, we studied yesterday that the Lord gave them what they wanted. They wanted meat, and they pressed that. They grumbled about not having meat. They complained about not having meat. And so the Lord gave them the desires of their heart, meat. And he sent that in the evening, so much so that it made them sick. But then, the very next morning, the Lord gave the Israelites what they really needed. And that was bread from heaven. Why did they need the bread of heaven? Well, first of all, because of the spiritual lesson that it taught them. Later on, Jesus called himself the bread of heaven. And so he was really pointing the minds of the Israelites back to the time that the Israelites were in the desert and the Lord gave them manna that met their need. He said, "I am the bread of heaven. I am going to always meet your need. I'm what you need," Jesus was saying. And that's exactly what we need today. We need Jesus. Oh, yes, we have so many wants. We want things. Like the Israelites said, we want meat. We're not going to be satisfied until we have meat. We had meat in Egypt, and now we want meat now. And so the Lord gave him meat, so much so that it made him sick. We want things. Peace. Oh, there's nothing wrong with that. But let me point you to this. We want things, but Jesus gives us himself. And he is Jehovah Jireh, who meets all of our needs. We want peace. We want feelings, but Jesus gives himself. He is the Prince of Peace. And so we want feelings, we want things, but Jesus gives us the very best, himself. When we receive what God has for us, we always receive the very best. The Father is the giver of all good things, and it's all summed up in his gift of Jesus. So let's remember, after the Lord gave the Israelites meat in answer to their prayers and their grumbling and complaining, he gave them what they really needed, manna, that is pointing us to Jesus, the true bread of heaven. Thank God for the gift of Jesus that God has given to us. That is the best that God could ever give. Oh, but there's more lessons to learn from the manna that God gave us from heaven that points us to Jesus. So join me tomorrow and we'll learn another lesson from God's Word about the bread of heaven. I'll see you then.